Most people don't fail one time. They fail over and over and over again because they've broken their self-trust. When you start and stop and you try this new idea or you try this new plan or you try to go and do this new strategy that you've seen online and it seems like it's working easier than whatever it is that you're doing right now, you call it a lack of discipline when you don't get to where you want to be. But reality is you don't trust yourself anymore because you've broken your self-trust. When you constantly start and stop and you reset yourself back at zero, all you're doing is telling yourself that you don't necessarily believe that this can ever be something that is going to work out for you. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about why most people continue to start over, why your self-trust is broken down right now. And then we're going to rebuild that self-trust so that you can stop resetting and you can just see something through until you're actually able to get a result that you're looking for. I'm probably the most guilty of this because for the last 7 to 8 years of me being a full-time entrepreneur, I have constantly started and stopped over and over and over again. And oftentimes I would wonder why, I'm not where I want to be until I stopped and reflected. And it's like, hey, man, you aren't where you want to be because you have started over so many different times. You tried to do all of these different businesses. At one time, I tried to do e-commerce. I've tried to do a hair brand. I've tried to do a car washing, detailing business. I've tried to do a trading online business. I've tried to do consulting. I've tried to market for people. Like the list goes on and on and on and on for the things that I've tried. And for me, like I had to figure out what actually worked for me. I had to figure out what was right for me. And I think that is extremely important for people to test and try different things, because the worst thing that you can do is to be doing something that you don't necessarily love. Because when you don't necessarily love that thing, I feel like you're not able to really give your full purpose into that thing. So it's okay for you to go and test different things to figure out what actually works for you. But a lot of the times we don't even give ourselves enough time to see if this is something that is actually working or if it's something that's not for us, because we just stop once things get tough. The toughest part about starting and stopping is the broken promises that we give to ourselves, and eventually it eliminates our self-trust within ourselves. Because when you go and you say that you're going to do something and you don't necessarily follow through with that thing, and you constantly say that you're going to do something and you constantly don't follow through with that thing, all you're doing is you are weakening the relationship that you have with yourself. And eventually you're not able to, your mind doesn't even believe the things that you say anymore. So now it feels like you can't necessarily get things done, but it's because your mind doesn't believe that it can be done. Imagine you were given a promise by one of your friends or family, or somebody said they were going to do something for you and they were going to show up for you. And they constantly said, hey, man, I'm going to show up for you. I'm going to be there for you. I'm going to do this thing for you. And they didn't do it, or they forgot about it. Eventually, you wouldn't even have the expectation of them or trust them at all, because it's like you're not reliant. It's the same exact thing with ourselves. When we say that we're going to go and work out and stay in the gym, when we say that we're going to go and build a business, and we go through life and life hits us and we just start and we stop, all we're doing within ourselves is eventually our mind stops believing what we're telling it. So now our mind doesn't even believe that it's possible at all. So we keep ourselves in a position of constantly feeling like we can be doing more, knowing that we can do more. And that's in the conscious mind. But the subconscious mind has believed that you are not able to follow through. The subconscious mind is 95% of our mind, while the 5% of our mind is our conscious mind. So although you may be saying, I want to do this new thing, or I want to stay consistent with this new thing, or I want to, I want to stay consistent and build this plan out. When you go and you break that promise to yourself and you create a habit of breaking the promise to yourself, eventually the subconscious mind, which is the 95% of the mind, that's what's going to essentially move off of habit, because now you have built a relationship with yourself that you can't even depend on. It's important for us to know that our identity is what's going to drive our behavior. Most people think that it's the opposite way around. They think that their behavior is what drives their identity, but it's your identity that drives your behavior. And what I mean by this is, if you have an identity that is inconsistent, meaning that you go out here and through time, through your actions, through your habits, you are showing up as inconsistent. That's what your mind is going to believe. That's what your body is going to work with. So when you try to go out here and stay consistent with that plan and you haven't necessarily been consistent in every area of life, then your body is saying, I don't know what consistency is. I'm used to inconsistency. I'm used to us starting and stopping. I'm used to us saying that we're going to do something and then we go out here and do it. But the moment that we reach this roadblock or we reach something that is like a bottleneck and we get stuck in a particular area, I'm used to going and starting something else. So now it seems a lot tougher for you to be able to follow through with that thing because your identity is what is controlling your behavior. And what I mean by this is, in a deeper aspect, the behavior is we want to say what we are going to do. I want to behave in this particular way. I want to show up and do this particular thing. But the problem is when we say something and we're not able to follow through with it over time, our body latches on to the inconsistency aspect, not the consistent aspect. It's like, okay, well, I'm just going to believe what I know, which is the habit that has been built. And we know that it takes 21 days to build a habit. It takes over 60 days to actually make something a lifestyle and to make it a real thing. So we have to look at when we start that new plan or that new strategy, or we go out here and test this new idea. A lot of the times we don't even get to the 60-day mark of remaining consistent. Some of us don't even get to the 21-day mark of staying consistent. We have the idea. We want to execute on the idea. We go out here and in the first week, if we don't get the results that we want because we're addicted to instant gratification, we say that this is too hard. It doesn't work for us. And we go and we start something else. So now that's the identity that your inside knows. That's what the internal knows. So whenever you say you're going to change, which is based off of your behavior, we don't believe in ourselves because we have created the reality of inconsistency. All of us feels like restarting means that we are making some type of progress. But the problem with restarting is when you go and you start something new, what you're doing is you are resetting your emotional comfortability with that particular thing. So because it feels exciting to restart and do something new, like we feel like that kid in the candy store, like we feel like that kid energy when we go and we start something new because we're able to learn new things. It seems like it's been working for other people. So you finally found that thing that's going to work for you. But the problem is when you constantly restart, all you're doing is resetting yourself back at zero. And you're still going to have to go through and fail with that particular thing and learn how to do that thing in order for you to be able to get the results of that thing. When we see people online and we see them doing new plans and new strategies or saying this is the new way to do X, Y, and Z, and we're all guilty of it because if we spend any time on social media these days is probably 60% ads and 40% like what's on our feed and who it is that we're actually following, especially if you're on Facebook and Instagram, because Meta ads is one of the best ways for people to grow businesses. And because these platforms are free, they have to be monetized in some type of way. So they are making money off of the people that are paying them to pretty much grab attention from people. So we're stuck in the phase of being the consumers. And now all we're doing is seeing a new idea to do this new thing. And the problem with it is most of the time, the way that the Meta ads work, when we see something that catches our attention, we stop and we look at that thing and we pay attention to that thing. We engage with that thing. So now Meta has sat here and saw, hey, this person's interested in this type of content. We're going to continue to push this type of content. So the problem on the back end of that is we see all of these new ideas or all of these new ways to do the things that we have been working on. And when we see those things online and on the inside of our mind, we're like, hey, this is what I've been looking for. Like I've been stuck in this particular area and this new idea, this new strategy, this is what's going to unlock it and help me get to the other side of being able to finally get the results that I'm looking for. But when you go and you test that new thing and you go and you try that new strategy, you start yourself back at zero. And the people that are, pushing the strategy or trying to put the new idea in front of you, they're at a further point in their process. Maybe not at the finish line, but they're at a further point in their process and they still had to start at zero. I know it feels like, oh my God, because they're showing up and they look like an ordinary person. Most of the time they are, but a lot of people are not necessarily showing the struggles in which they had to go through or how long it actually took them to learn how to do the thing. The people that you are seeing that are putting the new strategies out, they were the people that remained consistent and they chose one thing and they focused on that one thing. I was talking to one of my millionaire friends and I pretty much was just giving him his flowers for how I've been able to see him start with something so small. He owns a clothing brand, and the clothing brand started out with stickers. He would go around the area that we stayed in at the time we were in college, and him and his business partner would just post stickers and flyers all around campus. And it's like, wow, bro, like I'm so excited. Like I'm blessed to be able to see you plant this seed, water this seed, and to now see your garden growing. And his words to me was, bro, I just remained consistent. I chose one thing and I had my vision and I didn't go out here and continue to start and stop. And that inspired me to make this video because that really spoke volumes to me, because I have been a person that has tried to start and stop so many different times. And although it took me time to really figure out what I actually wanted to pursue in life. Once I did figure out what I wanted to pursue in life, I had to focus on going all in on that thing and eliminate the noise of everything else. Like, I'm not going to try to do 3 things at one time. I'm not going to try to be a serial entrepreneur right now. I don't need to have 3 to 4 different businesses right now. I need to focus on one thing and get to that one thing that's able to give me the fruits of the labor or whatever it is that I'm looking for, the benefits, the rewards that I'm looking for. And I need to stay consistent with that thing until I'm able to pretty much have an overflow of abundance. And then we worry about diversifying later. I was stuck in this loop of constantly restarting businesses and trying to do things differently because growing up, I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have a millionaire mentor at all. So all of the millionaire mentors that I saw online would always say, hey, if you want to be a millionaire, you need to have 7 streams of income. So what did I do? I went out there and I tried to have 7 streams of income until I realized that, hey, man, these people that are telling you that you need 7 streams of income, they had one income. They had one thing that they focused on until they are actually able to get the results that they wanted. And then they took the things that they got from this one thing, and then they dispersed them and diversified to be able to continue to build the empire and expand on the foundation. So right now, if you're a person that's in a position where you know that deep down inside, you have something that you have been trying to focus on, or something that you should be putting your energy into, stop trying to do multiple things. Focus on the one thing that makes you feel the happiest, that doesn't necessarily feel like work. It feels like your purpose. It feels like you're able to be fulfilled when you do this type of work, and put all of your energy into that. Now, obviously, we still have life and we can't just, hey, I got to make money some type of way. So obviously we have to, allow for our full time to pretty much pay for our bills, pay for all of the things that we need in order for us to be able to survive and stay afloat. But in your part time, go all in on that one thing, and don't tell yourself that you don't have the time to go all in on that one thing. Focus on just giving yourself 1 hour a day. Maybe you can only do 30 minutes a day, but whatever the case is, you got to be able to focus on one thing and keep your focus on that one thing. And it's going to be a fire that's going to come and test you. But when that fire comes and tests you, it's not to tell you that this thing is not working. It's to test whether or not you're going to see this thing through. Because early in the video, we spoke about how identity is what drives behavior, not the opposite way around. When you get to that roadblock, when you get to that point and it seems like you're in fire and nothing is making sense, remember that you have to rebuild the behavior on the inside. You got to rebuild the habit of being able to trust in yourself. So once you get to that roadblock, your body is going to do what it knows, which is say, hey, this is not it. We need to go and do something that's going to be more comfortable. We need to go and restart. But that's the moment that you have to stay consistent, and you got to be okay with being uncomfortable. You got to be okay with not knowing what is next. You got to be okay with just being able to trust the process and realizing that the process that you are going through, every single point in the process is building you up to who it is that you asked to be. So how do we rebuild our self-trust? The way that we rebuild our self-trust is by appreciating the small wins that we have in life. Right now, it seems like we aren't actually able to accomplish anything because we're always focused on the biggest goal. We're focused on the biggest win. And it takes time for you to accomplish the biggest win. So you have to start focusing on the small wins and the small daily habits that are going to build your consistency up. And that's going to change your identity on the inside to being able to get your subconscious mind to be able to believe that, hey, we can be consistent with this one thing. So small wins look like this, like something as simple as when you wake up in the morning, make your bed, say your affirmations, pray about what it is that you want, reflect on what it is that you want. One thing that I did to really, really change my life and something that I have helped probably thousands of people do that has been able to help them appreciate small wins is something that I call 90 minutes of freedom. And 90 minutes of freedom is pretty much you wake up in your day and the first 90 minutes out of your day, you are giving them to yourself. So you start your day with some type of win. And in these 90 minutes of freedom, the goal is to be able to work your mind, your body, and your spirit in some type of way. So working your mind by learning something new. Maybe it's doing some type of research on the thing that you're trying to do. Working your body, get your body to sweat in some type of way. Do a little 30-minute ab circuit or just work out for 30 minutes in that 90 minutes and give yourself the win of saying, hey, I've already gotten this win for the day. I've learned something new. I've worked my body out. And then the spirit aspect, focus on what you want. Literally sit down and practice mindfulness. The reason why we are not able to change our lives is because we don't change our thinking on the inside. So if you want to change the way that your life looks, change the way that you think and what you consume on the inside. Focus every single day. Give yourself 15 to 30 minutes to literally just sit there and ponder on what you want out of life. Speak your goals inside of life, the things that you actually want. And when you start your day like this is a huge win. It's not a small win. It's a huge win. But it's only a huge win if you remain consistent with it. Doing the 90 minutes of freedom is a way for you to be able to pretty much appreciate the small wins. But that's in all aspects of life. Like it doesn't just have to be in the first 90 minutes. That's how I like to start my day so that I can make sure that regardless of what happens today, regardless of the frustrations that I go through today, regardless of, the trial or the tribulations that I go through today, I started my day out with wins. So I'm happy in what it is I'm doing. And I know that I just have to remain consistent with me being able to give to myself first and loving on myself. And that's what will change the identity. And eventually your behavior is going to match your identity. So I just really guys, I don't know if you can tell, but I really just I just entered into a flow state because I'm super passionate about this because I've been a person that has started and stopped so many different times. And I know the effects of what actually can be built when you just stay consistent with the one thing. Don't chase the shiny object. Don't chase the new plan. Don't chase the new idea. Don't chase the new strategy for whatever it is that seems like it is going to work. There may be things that you can learn from those things, but you got to remain consistent with what it is that you want and build up the small wins by appreciating the small habits that you do on a day-to-day basis. And that is what's going to eventually equal up to you being able to have the overall big win. So that's going to conclude this particular video. I had too much fun in this video. So I hope that you guys did as well. Let me know in the comments below what you liked best about this particular video, because I want to be able to engage with you guys and also learn more about you so that I can be able to make content that will actually be able to fit where you are in your life currently. Because I don't believe that success has any type of limits. The only limits that we have is the limits that we place on our mind. And the reason why it seems like it is harder for us to accomplish our goals is because we don't have a mastermind or a group of people around us that are pushing us to the points that we need to in order for us to stay consistent in doing the things that is going to be necessary to get us to that goal, but also pushing us harder so that we can be able to stay consistent with doing the things that's going to help us change our lives. So until the next video, guys, peace and love. I'll see you in the next one.